Alex, yes, which wide receivers could be deep threats this year? We spent a lot of time talking about the wide receivers, so why not just close it out
Let's
on
do
the
it.
wide receivers?
Let's do it.
Um, I think the great thing about how this room is shaking out is there are a lot of different guys that I think could potentially be deep threats. You know, we know how good the two true freshmen are coming in, and Bryant Wesco and TJ Moore. I definitely think that they have some downfield playability. But even just the guys on the team, we saw Tyler Brown. He was the receiver on a lot of Clemson's explosive passing plays last year.
Yep.
He's very good at getting open down the field. Adam Randall, I think he's the one they really want to be that guy on the boundary. And we know, I watched him in high school. I know how talented he is. And we talked about, kind of him finding, the confidence that he had and being able to translate, what he's able to do in practice to doing it on the field, because it just and Dabo has talked about it, but he was fantastic in the spring by all accounts, and I just this he's poised to have a really big year, and he definitely has like a guy with his combination of size and speed is pretty rare, and so he's just very very gifted physically. So it really is just about treating every rep the same, and having that motor continue to go through a 4-quarter game, because I think that was kind of his issue a lot of times last year. You would see him do something really incredible, like just get down the field in an instant, and he's really really aggressive on the football, and then sometimes it's like he doesn't even feel like he has a shot even before the play starts, and he is just kind of going through the motions. So it's like getting him to have that motor every single rep for him. But I definitely think he has, great downfield play potential. Another guy that we just don't talk about enough, because he's another guy that spent a lot of time injured last year, is Cole Turner.
Cole Turner, man. That's a burner, dude.
I think we've forgotten about Cole Turner, and we haven't discussed him a ton, but man, he's a really, really great athlete. Like, fastest player on the team. Like, he is legit. Like, it's like the jokes are like write themselves about, oh, he's the small white receiver that like, but
yeah,
he is and he's not even really that small, but that's just kind of the stereotype. But
yeah, that's this.
He really is a plus athlete, and you saw him at the end of 2020, like him come on at the end of 2022. Like, I mean, obviously his game against North Carolina was big, but I think people forget about that catch he made against Tennessee in the Orange Bowl. It was early in that game. Like, that was like he's not only is he fast, but he's got hops. Like, he can jump.
Right.
I think Cole Turner is a guy they're going to want to get on the field and get him some opportunities to make some plays downfield, because his speed really is a weapon. So I think Cole Turner is one of those guys that is one of the most intriguing as far as like where he fits into the overall plan for the offense, because he really, could be a guy that just kind of, breaks onto the scene this year. Yeah. So I really want to see, how they work him in, and then how they kind of split that up. And but again, that's why I really like the makeup of this wide receiver room, and why I'm so high on it, because you have the depth that you didn't have in previous seasons, and you just have a lot of different.
And the diversity of skill set and body type within this wide receiver room. And, we don't even mention a Jake Brenningstool.
Yeah.
I mean, this dude is long and athletic as they come. And
yeah, he's basically another wide. He can basically
be another wide receiver. Yeah, that lines up at tight end. I mean, you talk about a guy that could really stretch the middle of the field and make defenses very uncomfortable. That's a guy like Jake Brenningstool, man. And if you use that guy properly, and some of these wide receivers come on and hit like we expect them to do, man, like this wide receiver core could be could spell like a lot of difficult problems for defenses in 2024. There's definitely it just looks way different than it has in years past, right? Like just from, you mentioned, Jordan, the depth standpoint, but just like the different body types that we have there, the different skill sets that are in that room. Whereas, 2-3 years ago, all our wide receivers were kind of starting to look the same. And there was no real, difference in any of them. They were all just kind of the same wide receiver with different numbers and names. But that's not the case anymore. And it's going to be special, man. This group could be really good if they put it together and become consistent and
stay healthy.
Knock on wood, injuries.
Yeah.
Injuries has been literally the Achilles heel to this particular group since 2021.
Yep.
We haven't had a healthy year of wide receivers since 2020.
Yep. And even then, that was the year that Justin Ross didn't play at all.
Right.
So it was
so was it really healthy? So what? 2019 was the last
Yeah.
season that we truly had a full stable of healthy wide receivers. That's a long time, man.
Yeah.
That's a long time to have that much bad luck in the same position group year in and year out. That's a tough break. So hopefully that the luck turns around for us this year. Those guys stay healthy, because I think if majority of them stay healthy, it has the potential to be a really good season for that position group.
Yeah. And Jay makes a great point. He's not the only one in that tight end room that could be a quality receiver either. Yeah, I mean, you saw the plays that Josh Sapp made in that spring game as well. He's poised to have a big year. So it's like,
oh, and you got Christian Bentaker on campus now,
and you have Christian Bentaker coming in as a summer
just showed up, by the way.
Yeah, like I mean, I think you got arguably the best tight end in the class coming in. So it's like we keep talking about how much how the pieces around Cade are the diversity of skill sets and what they bring to the table, and you're just like, man, there's no reason why this offense shouldn't be good. And
there's
so
no reason, man.
I mean, to a degree, you're right, man. It's like, so, and that's why we're so. It sucks because that the last few years have happened, because it's like, even you can't get too excited.
No.
You're like,
you want to be excited, but you're like, man, I've seen the past 3 years.
Yeah,
I can't get excited. So the best we can muster up. I know I've said it on previous shows, but the best we can muster up is just being cautiously optimistic about the ability for this offense to turn it around this year.
Right.
I 1,000% believe that the personnel are already on the roster.
Yeah.
To make this offense closer to what it used to be. I believe we got the right offensive coordinator. I believe that we got the right offensive line coach now, right? So I believe the pieces are starting to be put in place. Now we got to see it on the field. And I think Garrett Riley can work with this group of guys. That remains to be seen. Again, never getting too high, just because we've seen the product that has been displayed on the field for 3 seasons now, and it's just frankly not good. It's not good at all. So you can't get too high. You can't get too excited about it. But it's, to your point, Jordan, it's kind of hard when you just start listing name after name, and you know what these guys are capable of because you've watched their film and you've seen their recruitment and the what scouts have written about them, and their high school tape, and some of them what they've already done at Clemson in spurts, outside of injuries and stuff. So it's hard not to be excited, but again, staying cautiously optimistic, because I don't want to be duped again, man. It's getting too much.
Yeah, it's getting too much for sure. It's like if you took this team and removed, like in a vacuum, and removed any of the previous year's context and just looked at the team you have, like you'd be talking, oh man, we're going to be, I think we're going to be pretty damn good this year. Like playoffs, potentially national championship. Like we would be like, say even like if last year, even if you had last year and you just, you went like, instead of going 8-4, you went 10-2, and you won the game, especially if you won those swing games that you frankly
overtime game
beat yourselves in. Like we're talking about this team a lot differently. Like we're thinking, oh man, it's like this is a surefire playoff team. Like, man, I'm so excited to see what, and that's one of the toughest things, because it's like, again, like what you see on what we've seen on the roster has not translated to the results on the field. And so, and that's kind of the disappointing thing about how last season went, and how just so many things did not happen the way that they probably should have and could have. And having to go into this offseason with a lot of reasons to be excited, but yet having to rein it back. But yeah, not to end it on a somber note, because we really do have a lot of high expectations for what this offense can be. But there is that nagging feeling in the back of your mind that, man, this could go wrong again, and we could be 8-4. Maybe, God forbid, even worse. So it just, that's the reality. That's the painful reality of Clemson fans right now.
Hey, man, that's college football. That's why we love it. You never know what's going to happen from week to week. You never know what's going to happen from year to year. Nothing is a guarantee. So it's fun to talk about these guys. It's fun to talk about, their potential and what it could look like on the field this year. But, as we all know, we really won't know until, that ball's kicked off on, August 31st against the Georgia Bulldogs. And we get that first big measuring stick and figure out what this iteration of the Tigers are all about. And, how hungry they are, and, how much they're up to the task, because, we're going to find out early. And that Georgia team's going to bring it. For sure. So
we're definitely going to learn a lot. I mean, it's not going to write the story of the season, but we're going to learn a lot.
No. That week. Win, lose, or draw. That won't write the season, obviously, but it'll definitely, I think, let us know where we are.